rules the entire galaxy for 30 years, almost conquers entire world twice, tries to take over a high school and fails. Bilbo wearing the ring as a laugh for 60 years. Frodo putting it on for 5 minutes. They don't know I've been following them for 3 days. That's Gollum. He's been following us for 3 days. Second breakfast should be a real meal. 62% of American polls say. Sam being able to carry Frodo and not being affected by the ring means the ring doesn't have transitive properties, so they could have just taped the ring to a mouse and then carried the mouse with no ill effects. The whole thing would have taken 20 minutes. I love that one middle management orc who kept arguing with Saruman about realistic factory input. Me watching Star Wars CGI that probably costs a fortune to make. Me watching a wide shot of just people running across a field. When your buddy goes, "Hey dude, I just lost my kingdom. Can I crash at your place until I get back on my feet?" And then stays for 16 generations of his bloodline. Gandalf, "Keep it a secret, I'll be back soon." Frodo, for the next 17 years. 8 movies, 0 Oscars. 23 movies, 3 Oscars. 9 movies, 7 Oscars. 3 movies, 17 Oscars. Watching the scenes from the Shire, this is so boring. Where are the dragons? Where are the magic swords? I thought this was a fantasy movie. Me now, people living without any worries, taxes, enjoying life. This is the highest of fantasies. Lighting the beacons of Gondor, lighting yourself and your son. Every day I fall more and more like this Lord of the Rings shot, and no, I can't explain it. Divinity, royalty, nobility, lower nobility, rich boys, vassal. When you're fighting in the Battle of Minas Tirith, and you hear a dwarf and an elf counting nearby, Christian Bale gains £40,000 to play an Oliphant in Amazon's Lord of the Rings series. This is my neighbor. He is a pain in the butt. I have dragons, he has dragons. I have knights, he has knights. I have a good ending, he does not. Great success. Whenever someone puts on the one ring, Sauron, I shall create 3 rings for the elves, 7 for the dwarf lords, and 9 for mortal men, hobbits. Wow, okay, none for us, cool. And thus I shall have dominion over all the civilized races of Middle-earth. Wow. For some millennial women, Lord of the Rings has become a treasured part of the comfort watch genre. Nothing feels unsafe because the good guys are actually all good. It's impossible to hike and be in a bad mood at the same time. Lost ring. If found, please return to Sauron, Lord of the Darkness, Mordor. Gandalf, when the people of Rohan let him keep his walking stick. Me and the boys when we use Shire instead of countryside. Watching orcs literally cannibalize each other. Watching Denethor eat that one tomato. Doorbell rings. This is the moment I fell in love with Bilbo, because I understand this expression to the depths of my soul. Dwarves will turn 127 and make one of these their entire personality. Tolkien comes back and says, "It's pronounced Jandalf," then promptly dies again. Mordor, Gondor. I like Lord of the Rings, but I don't find the characters relatable. How about when Bilbo uses the most powerful object in the world to yeet from his own birthday party and escape his family? I don't know whether to delete my tweet or just delete my account. Argentina. I suppose you think that was terribly clever, and it definitely was. The ring, trying to get back to Sauron while attached to a guy who just wants to sit in a cave and eat fish for 500 years. Come on, do something. Harambe, it cannot be. You fell. I am Harambe the White, and I come back to you now at the turn of the tide. Elijah Wood tweeted. For Frodo. It's a cool number plate. That's my car. You have made my day. It's yours. Amazing. I passed by you once before and nearly followed you. My favorite moment in the whole Lord of the Rings trilogy. Gandalf. Bad news. Sauron knows everything that Pippin knows. Good news. Pippin doesn't know anything. Doom running on a calculator powered by baked potatoes. Boil them, mash them, use them to play Doom. It's some kind of Elvish, I can't read. Frodo is so useless. He just whines and can't even throw the ring to Mount Doom. Frodo, I am literally carrying and resisting a sentient object so evil it corrupts one's very soul. Enough that demigods are afraid to even touch it. Tolkien spends 40 years developing a 6,000-year span of histories, cultures, and cosmologies for multiple races and civilizations, including full linguistic systems, in service of his fantasy epic. Also him. The tree's name is Treebeard. When you're watching with friends and don't want to be that guy, going off to work each morning be like, for money. Name this film. Wrong answers only. The Second Breakfast Club. There it is, Mr. Frodo. Los Angeles. A world-renowned wizard tells you to toss an all-corrupting ring into a volcano located in the most evil place in the world. A barely half-clothed 500-year-old halfling tries to murder you and your best friend to take the ring for himself. Your best friend allegedly ate some bread. Friend, don't be too excited. It's just a movie scene. The scene. Sauron had the ring for 1,850 years. Isildur, 2, was in a river, 2,500. Deagle, about 5 minutes. Gollum, 478. Bilbo, 60. Frodo, 17. The river was the Lord of the Ring. Middle Earth. Vegans, they are not for eating. Vegetarians, what about their eggs? They don't need those. You fool. No man can kill me. I am no man. You really think semantics can kill me? I was clearly referring to the race of men, as opposed to the gender. I am a wrath who has inspired terror into the hearts of men, women, and children over the course of thousands of years. Just 10 minutes ago, I destroyed Gandalf's staff, and you think that you, a woman who can't even cook stew, can kill me. Tolkien fans are insufferable because you agree to watch the movies with them, and then 7 hours in they'll say, "Oh my favorite character is about to appear," and it's a siege weapon. Real acting and makeup makes better enemies than CGI. My parents and I were watching The Hobbit, but then they both fell asleep, so I stopped the movie and started Return of the King. About halfway through, and when my dad woke up, he just looked at me with this horrified expression and whispered, "What day is it?" The funniest thing about Lord of the Rings, Aragorn constantly overstepping the elves' personal boundaries. They'll come from a race where touching your heart is one of the highest signs of affection, and he's over here putting them into bear hugs and slapping shoulders like a brawny middle-aged dad. My uncle, 111 male, gifted me, 50 male, a ring before leaving to go traveling. A close family friend of mine, 2,000 male, told me to destroy the ring due to problematic associations with the jeweler who made it, but the ring is precious to me, and I would feel guilty about throwing it away. Am I the a-hole? Who wants to feel old? My daughter is friends with a girl named Eowyn, and when I said, "Oh, that's a pretty name," my daughter replied with, "Yeah, she says it's from this old movie her mum likes." I know the movie. "Oh, did you see it? It came out a long time ago." In Italy, 9 guys recreated the Fellowship, and they are walking across the country to throw a ring into— I don't know who needed this, but Sean Astin from Stranger Things with an otter. Sam didn't carry Frodo to the crack of doom and destroy the ring to be remembered as this guy from Stranger Things. Me. Lord of the Rings has no remake. Lord of the Ring needs no remake. What about Muppets Lord of the Rings? I'm listening. Never been to Mount Doom. Has been to Mount Doom. Doesn't offer to help. The Hobbit to Lord of the Rings pipeline is hilarious in retrospect. It would be like if 20 years after Stuart Little was published, E.B. White slammed down 1,000 pages about how Stuart's nephew killed the devil. Sam's response always breaks my heart into a million pieces. I'm glad you're with me. Open Subtitles recommends using NordVPN. What is the dumbest thing you did in the mood? A girl asked me over during the daytime, but I didn't have a smartphone with Google Maps. So I charted the course to her house onto a huge town map I found in my parents' house. I was walking the streets for about an hour holding this huge map trying to find my way. I felt like Bilbo Baggins. When your wife watches the movies for the first time and she thinks that Sam is going to betray Frodo and take the ring. How to pass? No, you're not allowed. If you ever feel useless, remember that Galadriel had a husband. I'm 87. I'm 140. I'm 2,931. Let's run for 3 days. Why didn't they just take the eagles to Mordor? Will you shut up, man? My dad says that the Lord of the Rings trilogy is a Christmas movie because it has elves. Gandalf the Grey and Saruman the White consult the head of their order. Peter the Pink, the most powerful and elusive Istari of all of them. Also the shortest. Wait, it's not a giant eyeball in the books? Never has been. Did you sleep well? Me? I actually slept really good last night. Some third world country. Their only source of drinking water. Nestle? I'll take that, my lad. It's a remember rule. The smoke turns red when you've forgotten something. The only problem is I can't remember where Gondor was when the Westfold fell. They frick now? They frick now! The biggest shock in The Lord of the Rings is not Frodo learning that the ring his uncle left him is the One Ring, nor Gimli discovering that Gandalf survived the fall from the bridge, but Barlaam the innkeeper hearing that the dirty old homeless man who used to live in the woods and would come in to bum a beer off him in exchange for a poem had just been crowned king of the entire world. When you were trying for a 60% on your test, but you only got a 35, less than half of what I hoped for. It's taken me ages to realize, but if Frodo had led a chicken along a bit of string and made the chicken carry the ring all the way, no risk of Frodo turning evil. Sure, the chicken might turn nasty, but realistically, how much damage to Middle-earth can one evil chicken cause? When you run out of sources for an essay, I was there 3,000 years ago. Only start curating a lore after you already finished half of the series and keep adding stuff a decade after finishing it. Steal 90% of your deep lore from real life history and other authors to fill out your world map. Create an entire universe with a bloody, theological history with hundreds of characters and dozens of devastating wars, then write a children's book in it. Gandalf should have stayed dead. When I last looked, Tolkien, not Martin, was the author of Lord of the Rings. Spider-Man gets rebooted again. Every criminal in New York City. Looks like Uncle Ben's back on the menu, boys. Yep, here's your problem. Someone set this king to evil. If you had $1 million, what would you do? I'll tell you what I'd do. 2 breakfasts at the same time, man. My ex always hated Lord of the Rings, but she said she would watch it with me. But she broke up with me before we could finish off the series. You wanna know the saddest part of my breakup? She said she would watch Lord of the Rings with me. We never saw Return of the King together. The Return of the King happened when you came back to the boys. Peter Jackson suggests even longer cuts of The Lord of the Rings could be released. Therapist. Aragorn isn't real. He can't hurt you. Aragorn. The meaning of haste. $94 million budget. Gondor at its weakest. $1 billion budget. Numenor at its most powerful. And one of the orc masks, and I remember this vividly, was designed to look like Harvey Weinstein as a sort of screw you. I think that is okay to talk about now. The guy is incarcerated. Screw him. Elijah Wood speaking to The Guardian. Are you sleeping? Yes, shut up now. Tolkien didn't start Lord of the Rings until he was 45. You're doing just fine. A new toothpaste is released. Dentists. Flight departure at 2. Parents at 6:30. Run. Can you explain this gap on your resume? I threw down my enemy and he fell from the high place and broke the mountainside where he smote it in his ruin. Then darkness took me and I strayed out of thought and time and I wandered far on roads that I will not tell. Chapter 1. An unexpected party. Chapter 1. A long expected party. I suppose you think that was terribly clever. Me, when a helicopter passes over. Age 7. Age 25. When I spot a single ant in the kitchen. A scout. When the ant spots me, they have a cave troll. He has the hairstyle of Ariana Grande. Elrond apologizes after racist tweets surface. Men are weak. It was a different age, he said in a statement. It's some form of Elvish, I can't read it. The language is that of Mordor, which I will not utter here. Why not? Because you're going to love the look of Elrond's face when I do it in Rivendell. The Lord of the Rings book version, the film version, both a peak. I'm a big fan of dwarves in Lord of the Rings. Really? Name 4. Durin? That's on me. I set the bar too low. Telling your wife you love her and she's beautiful. Writing her into your fantasy setting as the most beautiful being in all of creation who falls in love with a mortal man. Ensuring your love is known by millions and for generations to come. I can't believe Boromir is stuck in the Suez Canal. This whole video is wrong. They broke into my mines and knocked over my bridge, but somehow I'm the bad guy? Whom do you serve? My girlfriend watching Lord of the Rings for the first time. Me checking if she has the right reactions. Did you know the Sith Eternal Fleet seen in Star Wars was created by Sith cultists on Exegol, who indoctrinated Exegol's population with Sith values and raised and trained their children to become officers, mechanics and soldiers for the Final Order. No, how could have we known? Hobbits be like, here are my daughters, Celestial, Marigold, and Daffodil, and here are my sons, Dumbo, Chungus, and Water. Your love for the halfling's leaf has clearly slowed your mind. Yeah, well, you know, that's just like, your opinion, man. When your mum kills the spider in your room, but it's mosquito season. Our list of allies grows thin. Sam choosing Frodo as the ring bearer for his wedding. Celebrities. Oh, I can't believe I have to stay in my house. Their house. This is over quarantine. Me and my friend smiling at the cute barista who gave us our coffee. Smoke rises from the mountain of doom. I burned the cookies again? Dang it. Gandalf bringing a massive dragon firework to a birthday party to remind an old man of one of the scariest events in his life. Moving out of your parents' place, day 1 versus day 7. I can't recall the taste of food. A lone tree that looks like it's been out for a stroll has been crowned the 2024 Tree of the Year in New Zealand. Saw a tweet about hobbits being anarchists because they had no king. Here's the thing, Gondor had no king until a bunch of hobbits went through a heck of a lot of trouble putting one loyal to them on that throne. They're not anarchists, they're the CIA. I need to rewatch Lord of the Rings. I haven't watched this and watched these movies in years, probably since the last one came out. I used to play the game growing up there, Lord of the Rings Conquest. I loved that. Sometimes I forget Lord of the Rings was filmed 20 years ago, and this post was 5 years ago, so 25 years ago now. Look, if you're gonna invite someone over to watch a movie, you better pick a movie no one gives a damn about. Once a guy picked the Lord of the Rings, and guess what we did? Watched all 3 movies in the extended cut. Guess what we did not do? My husband is reading the Lord of the Rings to the boys at bedtime, and he reads with verve, So sometimes I'm relaxing, winding down for the entire day, and suddenly the entire neighborhood can hear, "Right now, ride to the ruin and the world's ending." You can go back 100,000 years to a cave that will be discovered by archaeologists. What do you write on the walls to mess with them? "They have taken the bridge and the second hall. We have barred the gates but cannot hold them for long." The ground shakes. Drums in the deep. "We cannot get out. The shadow moves in the dark. We cannot get out. They're coming." Peter Jackson. Want to see me direct a spectacular cavalry charge of Rohirrim that will send shivers down your spine? Want to see me do it again? Thanks for Lord of the Rings, dude. It's gotten me through some sad times. And Elijah responded, "For the part I played amongst thousands who made it, you're so welcome." One of my favorite aspects of having got to be part of the making of the films is the way they connect with people and continue to. I love that they have provided a comfort for you in sad times. A true beautiful power of art and the way these characters and the stories resonate with people, both from the books and then the films. We get to hear so many stories of connection and love, and that continues to be an ever-expanding gift from having played a part in these films. So thank you to Men are weak. There is one who could unite them. Just finished Silmarillion. I read The Hobbit or Lord of the Rings first. So I just finished teaching myself calculus. What subject should I take next? Colors of the rainbow or sounds that farm animals make?